Craig Butler dares Rudolph Speid to sue him as he stands firm on his allegations. Dujuan Richards' return is imminent, and the Jamaica Premier League game week 23 was amazing.
Jamaica have a lifeline! How about this?
Big up Gunnaz, I hear that. Don't know some of the Gunnaz myself, but big up Gunnaz.
And I'd love for Speed to take me to court. I have my lawyers ready. Yeah, I'd love for him to take me to court, because then FIFA will get to understand everything that he did.
If you are new to the channel, welcome to the Gunnaz podcast. I'm your host, Dicanio, an Arsenal fan who covers everything local football and the Reggae Boys. Remember to hit that subscribe button if you haven't as yet, and every single video I do on this channel must get to 100 likes. So just go ahead and hit that like button. Now, happy Friday, viewers. It's the end of the work week, and we have a whole lot to talk about. In this episode of your Jamaica Premier League review, I have confirmation on Dujuan Richards and when he will be back in action. Craig Butler faces up against Rudolph Speid again, and the Jamaica Premier League game week was an action-packed one. Now let's get the baby news out of the way, as Craig Butler was asked for an update on Dujuan Richards and when he will be back in action. And his response to that was, Whisper's recovery and management of his return is going well, and he will be back in action late March. So that is the latest news on Dujuan Richards from the man himself, Craig Butler. Now moving on into the Craig Butler versus Rudolph Speid saga, as Mr. Butler yet again came out in an interview with Knockings, throwing out wild allegations and conspiracies in a post-match interview with Knockings. He actually started off the interview scolding Knockings and calling him weak for deleting the video he posted a couple weeks ago, where Craig Butler spoke about MG Sports being a liar and Rudolph Speid blocking players.
Talk us through the match.
Not as disappointing as you're suppressing the truth and being unwilling to let the truth come out with what happened with Rudolph Speid. I hope you're happy with yourself.
I am very not happy with myself, but
What name? MG
Sports
told some lies in order to try and influence a decision or to put pressure. Yeah, and it wasn't true. How you think Maggie felt?
Now, I understand the points Craig Butler made, and if it were me in a similar situation, I don't see myself taking down the video. However, I can see it from both sides. Looking from the outside in, my channel is run differently from Knockings. It is registered in the United States, and I do not go into the streets as much as Knockings does. So my perspective is that if I get someone on my channel to speak their side of the story on something, I cannot be held liable for that. I have no control over what someone says. So if someone has an issue with what someone said when they came on my platform, they have two options. They can take it up with that person, or they can come onto my platform and give their side of the story, because everyone is always invited onto this platform. Now, that is the perspective of Craig Butler and also myself. However, I do understand Knockings, as his channel is more dependent on others than mine is. So if he does do a video that the Jamaica Football Federation, Rudolph Speid, and even his colleague in this space is unhappy with, then he more than likely would have to take that down just to make peace. A channel like his is doing good work, but it also has its pros and cons. He is dependent on interviews from some of the same people that are unhappy with him for his channel to run how it is running right now. So it is a wise decision to remove something that has so many parties unhappy. Another thing that Knockings does do is that he shots himself in his foot with his lack of objectiveness in his interviews, specifically with Craig Butler. He rides along with the wave a bit too much and does not challenge him. It feels more like a conversation between two friends than with a journalist and an interviewee, or a journalist and a coach. So that amplifies how others will feel about the interviews. They will feel attacked not only by Craig Butler, but also by Knockings, because he tends to lean on the side of Craig Butler and agree with him a lot, instead of staying objective and just asking questions and allowing him to respond. My advice would be to shift up your tonality and stay on track. For example, in my interview with Michael Richmond, who had allegations of Craig Butler treating his player, Ravi Coates, unfairly, I did not allow him to come on and just say everything as he pleased, right? I challenged him on almost every allegation that he made, if it did not make sense to me, or if he did not have anything to show proof, right? So when you conduct an interview in a manner that gives you an added layer of protection, Viewers will respect that, and they will see you as a journalist trying to get to the truth, as opposed to someone who is just trying to let a man talk. You can give a man a platform to speak, but you must challenge the things that he says that are baseless and without proof, especially in the public eye. The person might have proof behind closed doors, but if they do not present that proof, you have to challenge the information. Now, finally, on this topic, Mr. Butler also had allegations about Michael Forbes when asked about his trials and how it went at Middlesbrough. He said that they loved him in England. However, they only had 4 wildcards left, which they all used, which means that he would have to make a move this summer.
Some clubs have 6 wildcards, being 6 players that you can just put in no matter what. No matter whether they play for Jamaica or not, right? So because Speed is blocking Forbes, he has to go in on what's called a wild card, where the clubs just say, listen, we want him anyway. Doesn't matter whether they qualify or not.
He was also asked about Denzel McKenzie, who was seen playing yesterday against Harbourview, and Craig said that Feyenoord loved him, but the transfer window was closed and they could not sign him in January. However, they gave Craig Butler a blueprint to work with for the next few months, and he will be expected to join Feyenoord in the main team, Craig Butler said, this summer. Now, moving on to the Jamaica Premier League review section of the show. It was after a 1-1 draw with Harbourview that Craig Butler spoke with Knockings in the game where Veer Phoenix took the lead at the stroke of half-time, but Harbourview managed to get an equalizer early in the second half. This result means that Veer remains in the relegation zone, 2 points behind Harbourview. Also in the relegation zone is Humble Lions, who failed to cut the deficit on their relegation rivals. They took an early lead through a blunder by Racing in the first half, but they then capitulated in the second half by getting a red card in the 64th minute and later conceding in the 84th minute. The result leaves Racing in 8th position, just 5 points behind Waterhouse, unbeaten in their last 5 games, winning 4 of them. Now, speaking of Waterhouse, they managed to lose their derby against Arnett Gardens at Anthony Spalding Sports Complex, courtesy of a late winner from former St. George's College striker Shantamoy Taylor. Now, for those of you who are regulars on this channel, you know that I used to play football and I support both Waterhouse and Racing. Now, nothing hurt me more than to see Shantamoy Taylor score against my team. When I played against him a few times back in the days when I used to play against Shantamoy, I never conceded a goal to him, right? While Waterhouse has conceded twice to him this season, with the first coming when he was back at Dunbeholden at the start of the season. Now, that game was an exciting one between Arnett Garden and Waterhouse, but at the end of the day, it looked like we just have to go stop by a Waterhouse train and teach those defenders how to stop Shantamoy Taylor and keep him in their pockets. Now, there were many draws this game week, with 2 more coming when Portmore and Dunbeholden played, as they both fired blanks. Tivoli drew 1-1 with Chapelton Maroons, and Cavalier stole a stoppage time equalizer against Mobay United to end that game 1-1. Now, the game that did not disappoint was Malines versus Mount Pleasant, where the Kingstonians took the lead early on, but Mount Pleasant really asserted their dominance by winning the game by 6 goals to 2 to further extend their lead at the top of the table. Now, that is it for this video, guys. Remember to smash that like button if you enjoyed the content, and subscribe to the channel to become a part of this family. Also, share your thoughts in the comment section about the various topics that I touched on in this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time. Peace.
Jamaica have a lifeline. How about this?
Big up Gunnaz, I hear that. Don't know some of the Gunnaz myself, but big up Gunnaz.